What is up, gamers? Welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. And today we have another big balance update here. This is a lot of changes here, and they're going to be implemented on April 23rd. If you would like to check this out for yourself, I'll leave a link to this in the description down below, so feel free to check that out. And also, if you enjoy this, if you could like and subscribe and leave a comment down below, I'd very much appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. Anyways, let's get into this balance update here. First of all, we have the advanced recall. Health increased from 600 to 700, and I like that. I think that's a pretty good change. I've tried using the advanced recalls, and it's pretty tough. They definitely die way too quickly to splash units. I think they die in one shot to most splash units, and so I think this will let them tank a hit, and it's going to take two then from splash units to kill them. So I think that's a good change. I think that'll make the advanced recall a little bit better. Yeah, I don't think that's too much or too little or anything. So I think they'll be pretty fine after that. I'd be happy to try them out again and see where they're at. But anyways, next we have the advanced blink. Health decrease from 7,000 to 6,250, and building damage modifier decrease from minus 10x to minus 12x. And so they're nerfing the damage to the buildings, to the bases, and I like that. I think the anti-big units right now, I think they do a little too much damage to bases. If you're not paying close attention, they can take out your base in the blink of an eye. So no pun intended there. And with the health decrease from 7,000 to 6,250 there, I think that's fine. But honestly, I haven't been a big fan of the advanced blink, other than just having fun with them running around destroying bases. When they're in battles and in fights, I feel like they actually don't do quite as well. And I really think it's actually their DPS that's the main thing that holds them back. They obviously do really good damage against big units, but I find even against small units and even splash units, they just their DPS is lacking, I think. So I'm not a big fan of using them. I honestly don't even think advanced blink is really all that powerful or anything. I don't think they're bad by any means. They are pretty good, but I don't think they're anywhere near the best or anything like that. So I'm not really worried about the advanced blink, but I think this is fine. I think they'll still be pretty good. But I do kind of hope they increase their DPS slightly to splash units and maybe against core units as well. I know they don't want it to be too good of an all-around unit like it used to be, but I think that would be reasonable, especially since they are considered a big unit and they just die super quick to any anti-big units, of course. And then next we have the Gargantua. Movement speed decreased from 7.88 to 6.3. That's interesting. And then attack cooldown increased from 0.3 to 0.33. That doesn't seem like much or hardly anything to me, so I think I'm fine with that. I was never really too worried about the Gargantua. I think they're a pretty good unit. I think they're pretty strong. But I didn't think they were really overpowered. So overall, I think this is probably okay of a change. I am not the biggest fan of using them myself, just because of how big and clunky they are. I tend to have a hard time just positioning them correctly. They just, are so massive, to take up so much space in your army, and so I just kind of have a hard time maneuvering them around where I want them to be and everything. So, but I do think they are pretty strong. I think they'll continue to be strong even after that change. And then the artillery movement speed also decreased from 6.3 to 5.24. That's interesting too. Like I didn't really think the artillery was all that strong. I don't feel like I see it all that often. I think it's good. I see it. I definitely see it once in a while, and I think it does pretty well for the most part. And this movement speed change isn't that big, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But I think this will make it struggle a bit more against some of the things like the mortars and sniper maybe, and things of that nature. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it does. Then the Guardian Shield damage modifier versus core change decrease from 1.75 times to 0.9 times. So another nerf to the Guardian Shield. Wow. I'm pretty surprised. I think the Guardian Shield, I thought it was in a pretty good spot after that initial nerf to the 1.75. I think it was definitely a bit too strong before that, but I thought this last nerf it got was pretty good. And so, I haven't had enough time perhaps to fully test it out. But, I think the Guardian Shield, after getting nerfed to 0.9 times now, I think it might struggle a bit. I know they want it to be more of a new player friendly type of unit, and I really like that. I think it's really good for that. And I'm glad they implemented this and came up with this idea. I think that's great. But honestly, I'm okay with like other top players using it as well. I know you never want any one unit to be the dominant unit that takes over every deck. So, hopefully this is a good spot for it then. And then we got the recall, and oh man, they're nerfing my recall. Oh man, attack cooldown increase from 1.15 to 1.25. And honestly, I gotta say that's pretty well deserved. The recalls, I think, were definitely too strong. I think they're one of the strongest core units in the game. Definitely for myself, at least, in my play style. I think their DPS is really good, and they, can even sneak around and get some bases too, and people just don't really seem to expect that. So they just come out of nowhere sometimes. Yeah, so I think this is a good nerf. I think the recall is still going to be good after this, but hopefully that tunes them back just a little bit. And then Wasp damage modifier versus recall decreased from 0.375 to 0.25. And yeah, so that's just because of the recall nerf, so that seems fine. And then the advanced mortar health increase from 2,000 to 2,400. That's cool. That's good, I think. The advanced mortar, I think, needs to have some differences from the mortar, other than just the fact that it can shoot up and down. I think the advanced mortar deserves to be more powerful than the mortar. And I think, the advanced mortar was just a little bit underwhelming. I think it's still really good though. And, this might make it, super good. I don't know. I was trying out the advanced mortar myself, and I found they're actually, a bit harder to use, but I've never really used the mortars before. So I just had no experience with it. So I think it takes a little more time and practice to learn how to use it than you might think. We'll see how the advanced mortar does, but I think that might make it pretty good. And next up, the mortar, getting a health decrease from 2,000 to 1,800. Okay, so the advanced mortar is getting the health increase and mortar is getting decreased. So now there's an even bigger difference between advanced mortar and mortar. And so I think that's good. That's also very well deserved. I think mortar is one of the strongest units in the game, even though I haven't used it myself much at all. It's just because it doesn't really have many weaknesses. Really, the only weakness is that it's not as mobile as some other units. But the range is insane. The DPS is insane. And I think even their health was definitely too high. I remember playing games against it where I'm getting some of my core units or even splash units on top of the mortar before the mortar even sets up, and they still manage to set up before I can even kill the mortar. And so I think nerfing the health on that is going to be good and hopefully allow you to pick them off if they're out of position, and that's how it should be. And then we have the crossbow health increase from 2,200 to 2,400. And honestly, I don't think the crossbow is very good, unfortunately. Could it be usable? I'm sure it could, but there's just not a lot of real need for it currently. The only unit that it really hard counters right now is the shade, and I don't think we're seeing too many shades. If we were seeing shade in every single deck, then maybe we would see the crossbow more often then. But I don't see the shade that often. Change from 2,200 to 2,400. Is that really going to be enough to make a difference? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Then the Behemoth, attack cooldown increase from 0.6 to 0.7. Another very well-deserved nerf here for the Behemoth. I definitely think Behemoth is one of the strongest units in the game currently, and I think the strength of the Behemoth should be how tanky it is, and also the fact that it's a matter-only unit is very good as well. And so, I do think their DPS was too high. They don't need to be, trading too well against other units. I like them to just be there as that tanky unit for me. So I think I'm pretty happy with that nerf, and definitely doesn't make the Behemoth bad by any means. So I think Behemoth will still continue to be a very strong unit. And then the turret damage increased from 1,000 to 1,200. That's pretty cool. I like that, I think. I haven't seen too many people running with the turret, but the few that I have seen, the turret seems pretty good to me, honestly. So, I think this will make the turret even just that much better. The only problem is that the turret is a big unit, and so it can struggle up against those anti-big units. But other than that, I think the turret is a very solid unit. Very good. And then finally, last but not least, we have the Beetle, and attack cooldown decrease from 1.3 to 1.1. Wow, that is crazy. Oh my gosh. The Beetle, I thought the Beetle is actually pretty good already. I know people don't use it a lot, and I think that's probably just because of how slow it is. So I think I would like to see them increase the speed on it just slightly. Maybe that would encourage people to use it more. But I think I am going to have to try this some more. Because that's pretty darn good DPS. That is probably the highest DPS for the anti-air core units, and it's probably one of the best anti-air core units in the game right now, in terms of just the damage that it can do. Yeah, so I think I'll have to try that out again. I normally prefer the recall hunter because of that recall ability. It's just so nice being able to teleport those to any base, and so especially if you're going up some of the faster units like the butterfly and dragonfly, the recall hunter can do very well in that regard. But yeah, that's it for this one. I think those are pretty good changes. I like it overall for the most part here, and if you'd like to see me testing out all of these changes, feel free to stop by YouTube or Twitch. I've been streaming most nights starting around 9 p.m. Eastern, so definitely stop by and check it out, and let me know if you have any questions about the game. I'm happy to help and answer questions and do anything to help you guys out in any way I can. And so I think that'll be it, though, for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next one.